right, thank you, Michelle.
All right, let me just
Yep.
verify that we're live. Are we live?
I tried with the chief.
This is the secretary in West Virginia. Yes, you're alive.
Okay, thank you. All
Thank
right,
you.
so the time is now 3:11 p.m. on Tuesday, March 18th. I would like to call to order the regular meeting of the Fire Commission. We have a quorum with Fire Commissioner Destruge, Fire Commissioner Howard Dixon, and new Fire Commissioner Steve Ferguson.
Present.
And Steve, welcome aboard
Thank you.
Welcome aboard,
Uh,
Steve.
Thank
to
you.
the Fire Commission. I'm trying to, of course, my phone would ring right now. Okay, so again, we have a quorum, and the first item on the agenda is the regular acceptance of the regular meeting of Tuesday, February 18th. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion to move. Is there any corrections, deletions, or omissions in those minutes?
I didn't see any.
I don't have any.
Okay, so all in favor of approving the minutes as submitted?
Aye.
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 I abstain.
Motion- And one abstention. Motion carries. Fire Chief's report, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, commissioners. Welcome to Commissioner Ferguson. Hope you enjoy your stay with us.
Thank you.
So, hope you got the packet of information that was emailed to all the commissioners. You got it. Okay. So under the platoon budget report, it's a monthly breakdown of our expenses. And we are now 8 months into this current fiscal year. And at the very bottom, available balance, we have a good balance in the salary account and also in the overtime expenses. And those two line items break down to the salaries at 59.6% and the overtime's at 62.1%. Which, if you figure out how the percentage for 8 months, it would be 66.6.
Mhm.
And overall, taking into account the whole budget, we are at 60.9%. So we're under the 66 mark for this month. So
Very good.
we're going to be watching the overtime and the salary accounts as we move into their busier time of months coming up. Questions?
Okay, any questions for Chief Gatto?
Good job again for keeping us under budget, Chief. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next is the Assistant Fire Chief of Administration, Assistant Chief Conti.
Good afternoon, Mayor Rilling, Commissioners. Welcome, Commissioner Ferguson. It's good to meet you. So just a few updates on our ongoing projects. Station 1, the apparatus floor, I've got the all the final pricing coming in. I'm working with them right now, so that should be done by the end of the week. And I just had a discussion with Karen from purchasing, and I'm gonna package everything together and submit for approval to repair the floor at Station 1. That should be.
As we're going through this, because there's going to be items that Commissioner Ferguson might not be totally familiar with. So if you can identify which station it is and a quick update on just what the project is.
Understood.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ferguson, this is Station 1. This is on New Canaan Avenue, 90 New Canaan Avenue. We've the apparatus floor, it's a 3-bay floor drive-through. That floor has been it's moving and it has been cracking. And I had the building department there last year, and he wanted me ordered me to investigate it. So we contracted a geotechnical engineering firm. They did test bores, and we did testing and found the soil underneath to be inadequate and it's failing. So what we did is they gave us 3 options. We are going to go with we contracted them and they contracted their contractor to do the test work. We're going to go with our option of installing helical piles and replacing the slab, and which will be a permanent fix and essentially bypassing the inadequate material fill underneath. And this will be involved. In doing this, we're also going to redo the apparatus floor, the drainage system, which because of the sinking has failed in several areas. So it's a big project, but we're almost done with that now, getting the pricing, and I'll be presenting that to the committees, the various committees. Hopefully we'll be doing that next month.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Station 3 is another apparatus floor replacement. That's our Van Zandt Street, East Norwalk Station. We actually rent that building from the 3rd Taxing District, and the apparatus floor in that building was done by them maybe in the 80s, and that floor was deemed it was not safe as the apparatus has gotten larger and heavier. They granted us $400,000 to replace the floor. We just ran the project. We have since replaced the floor, and finished that. And Engine 3 was actually relocated for several months, and we just located them back in last month. And that floor has now been replaced. And the only thing we were waiting on was a new overhead door, because the floor ended up getting lowered as it got replaced to the original elevation, because our apparatus weren't even fitting in the building any longer. So now we replaced the overhead door. So that's actually, I was just on the phone with them today. It was back ordered because it's now a heavy duty commercial door. That door is getting installed next week. Is scheduled to be installed next week. So that's that project will be officially closed after that door's done. Station 4, we're renovating that build. We have put in to renovate that building now. That's on Westport Avenue. That's Engine 4 right now. The goal is that building was built in 1967 and has not been essentially not much work has been done since then. We wanted to renovate that building, including any asbestos abatement. And we have been getting a cost analysis together for a while now. And we have built that cost analysis and submitted it to the city for funding, for capital funding. That was submitted for this year, and we're due to in the committees to present that in next month, actually. During that
station bigger, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's going to involve. Yep, that's going to involve an addition as well off the back, and relocation of our ladder truck from Station 1 to Station 4, and then relocating the rescue truck from Station 2 to Station 1. So it'll better distribute our current assets, our current resources. And that we're during that time, we've the city has given us some extra funding to assist in repairs to keep the building basically to keep the building running. So their Guardian has been performing those repairs throughout the year. And so we're just waiting for our meetings at that point. And then last year we received funding for capital funding for overhead door replacement for all of our buildings. And they have all been ordered. There was due to the customization of the doors. It's been a few months, but as they start coming in, Station 3 was obviously the priority. That was the first one, and now as the doors come in, we're going to be installing them throughout the city to replace all of our doors in our apparatus bays, including some of the motors too, some of which are actually original to the buildings. So yeah, Station 1 still has some 1970 motors in them. So those will be replaced.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Do you have an ETA on the doors?
So I spoke with them. I'll have next month. I'll have a better idea for you. Like I said, Station 3's door, I just received word today that it came in, and they said that the other ones are on order, except there's one of the heavy duty commercials that hasn't been ordered yet. But I'm hoping I'm hoping it should be in the next 2 months. If I'm using their timeline that they gave me, within the next 2 months, they should be coming in. And what we're going to do is actually, to save some time, is get them all, we're getting them all in as we can, and we'll get them, even if they have to be stored over at station 6 in apparatus maintenance, then they can come and install them as they get to them. That's the plan.
Thank you, Assistant Chief.
You're welcome.
Okay, that brings us to Assistant Fire Chief of Operations, Assistant Chief McCabe.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners, and welcome aboard, Commissioner Ferguson.
Thank you, sir.
Under the operations report, item 1, monthly calls. For February, we had 609 incidents, averaging just under 22 per day. We had 10 fires, 39 rescues, all but 2 of those being motor vehicle accidents. We responded to 381 EMS calls, 30 hazardous conditions, 17 service calls, 104 fire alarms, and 28 good intent. Under item 2, annual summary of calls, from January 1st to February 28th, we are at 1,282 incidents and 2,065 responses. And both of those categories are up a little from this point in 2024. Item 3, fire apparatus. 2 new Ford Explorer staff vehicles were delivered this last week. These will replace 2008 Explorers, both of which have over 120,000 miles on them, and will now be placed in fleet reserve. In addition, our new Car 2 is ready to be upfitted, and Car 2 is a extended cab Ford pickup truck that serves as our shift commander vehicle. So its upfitting will include having lights and siren, department radio, and computers installed. And that vehicle basically serves as our mobile command post for the deputy chief on duty at structure fires. So we hope to have that new vehicle up and running soon. Item 4, operations. Our standard operating procedures have been updated this month in order to optimize our rescue and truck personnel at structure fires. And these firefighters perform functions such as search and rescue and ventilation while the engine company is extinguishing the fire. So these new SOPs will be distributed and then will be backed up with company training. Item 4B, the first round of interviews have been conducted for our next group of lateral firefighter hires. And the commission interviews will be held on March 25th. And I believe we need to establish a Zoom link for that meeting. Is that accurate? Any of the commissioners need to Zoom that?
For myself, that would be great. Thank you, because I'm out of the country. Yeah.
Very good, Commissioner. And then if anyone else needs, just let us know and we'll have that up and running in addition to the commissioners who will be in person here at Station 2. And finally, under notable incidents, we did have 3 working structure fires in the first 9 days of the month. However, as those were March incidents, I will give full details on them in next month's report. I will say that there were no civilian or firefighter injuries reported from those fires. And that concludes the operations report. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Just for the commissioner's edification, how many firefighters vacancies do we have right now?
Right now, we are going to be at 12 vacancies, and we are looking to put on 4 lateral hires to shore things up at this point in time. So those are the individuals that we'll be interviewing next week. And then we are looking at the Fall Fire Academy to put some additional firefighters on from the non-lateral list. But 4 for right now.
Okay. Any questions from the commission on that?
No questions. Thank you.
Just one. Is there any stipulation or reference to past experience in the fire departments, other fire departments prior to coming to Norwalk's, if in fact they don't do very well on the test?
Yes. So our process for lateral hires requires those individuals to have taken our test, to have scored well on the test, and then to go through the interview process just like any other candidate would.
Okay.
However, if they are already certified by the Connecticut Fire Academy, or if they're coming from another state, if they're certified from that state's or department's fire academy, that saves us from having to put those individuals in either the spring or fall academy here in Connecticut. So it's basically taking on certified personnel that have already been through that process.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and lateral transfer for Commissioner Ferguson, that's a pre-certified firefighter that transfers from one fire department to Norwalk.
Understood. And the question is, how much are we saving by not having to train them? Is there a cost for us, Mr. McCabe?
Yes, there's a cost savings. The exact figure, I'm not sure. Maybe Chief Gatto has that, or Chief Capola would know what the CFA currently costs. But there's also a time savings. So if we need to put on a few firefighters to fill some vacancies quickly, and don't need to wait for the academy to come around, because they only give 2 per year. They give a spring and a fall academy. And then of course it's, I believe, a 14-week program up there for them to get through it. It saves us time in addition to the money. However, laterals are usually still for us the exception. Most of the firefighter candidates that we bring on, Commissioner, are civilians before they come here, and they get trained up at the academy.
Thank you.
Fire
It's a little-
academy, the fire
it's a
academy,
little-
$10,000. Sorry, Chief.
1,000.
It's
Less than that.
Last
ahead.
I thought approximately $10,000 for the academy, but I could be wrong. That's what I thought it was. I could check and get the exact number.
No need for the exact number.
So that brings us to the fire marshal's report, and we have newly promoted Fire Marshal Troy Donahue.
And congratulations.
He gave up
Fire-
his acting career, and now he's
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
Nice to meet you, Commissioner Ferguson also. So for the month of February, we had 173 total inspections, which was a positive 36 for the month. Over January, public education, we had one pub ed event at Kingsway, fire safety education. We had one smoke detector installation for a single family residence. We did 38 plan reviews for the month of February, total at a cost of $21.50. Liquor licenses was consistent with the month of January for $130. Total income for that month of February was $22.80. Fire marshal investigations, we had a total of 7. 6 were fires, and 1 was code related for an illegal apartment. Mega multis, we visited 5 sites for the month of February, total of 256 inspections for apartment units. Recently had a new hire for part-time, Steve Kakays. He joined us in February. And I think that's about it for the month of February. I apologize for being a little nervous. First commissioner meeting with Zoom.
you did well.
I apologize for that, but I can take any questions if anybody has me at this time.
Do you feel
No need
comfortable
for a
just
recheck.
explaining the kind of inspections you might have to do?
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor?
Would you feel comfortable explaining to the new commissioner what kinds of inspections you might be doing at any given time, like liquor, plan review?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Mr. Ferguson, we do all sorts of inspections. Most of them are multifamilies, 3-family and aboves, which we'll get in there and do inspections for the homeowner to make sure everything's up to code, fire and life safety, smoke detectors, egress, anything going through the facility or property. Liquor licenses would fall under restaurants or bars. We would get in there once a year. Commercial businesses we get into, we see all the fire and life safety side of that. We got a lot of building going on in Norwalk, so we've been trying to get in there, seeing the construction part of it going forward. From the beginning process, from the plan review, when it's dropped off to our office, to the final stages of the final CO, the final walkthrough. So we'll see all sides of that also, the alarm systems, the sprinkler systems, egress, emergency lighting, exit signage, to make sure all the fire and life safety size of that is up to date.
See, that wasn't hard, right?
No, a little nervous. I apologize.
Well, I've been on the other side of that table. I've had a deli, so I remember that. I remember you guys coming once a year. I had a 3-family in East Norwalk, so I remember the 1-year annual checkup.
Okay.
I remember those items, but other than that, it's gonna take me a long time to get familiar with everything. So I'm just here to listen and take notes.
We will bring you up to speed with that.
Okay, if there are no further questions from Fire Marshal report, that'll bring us to Emergency Management. Ms. DeLuca.
Great. Good afternoon and welcome, Commissioner. So really, again, for the past month, main focus has been on doing some public education. I was actually part of the SONO or Community Services Early Childhood event on Saturday that had about 200 or so attendees at the mall. Knowing that some of the materials from FEMA will be in short supply pretty soon, especially English, Spanish, and other languages. I was able to use AI to create some materials and get those out because, again, trying to get things in Haitian, Creole, English, and Spanish, and then whatever added languages needed. Again, monitoring obviously regional and with some of the state committees that I've been part of, what possible changes may come with FEMA or come from this administration regarding FEMA. Obviously a lot of discussion, concerns about the coming hurricane season, and again, any potential changes and how that may impact us, as well as conversations about ongoing protests. Again, everything is peaceful, but obviously planning for what may come in the unknown ahead. Hoping to do a spring meeting of the emergency management team. Just need to find a location with parking. We've been doing a lot of virtual and Zoom. This winter was pretty quiet with snowstorms, and I think we are done with winter, knock on wood. So it would be nice to bring the group together before the start of hurricane season, in the summer extreme heat. And then I'll work with Sky on doing another push for Everbridge signups for notifications. We try to do those every couple of months, a little bit more seasonally, to get folks to sign up for those emergency notifications. So I think that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
And the emergency notifications, how do people sign up?
We have a QR code on some postcards, but for the most part, on the city's website, on the bottom, there's a link for signing up for emergency alerts. And when we start doing the pushes, again, the seasonal, we try to add a spotlight on the main page of the city's website. So it's very easy to find for residents.
Again, that's the alert system, the reverse 911 system.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions of emergency management?
Great job, Michelle. Thank you.
That brings us to the training division report, Deputy Chief Capola.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, and good afternoon, commissioners, and special welcome to Commissioner Ferguson. Glad to have you. Good to meet you. Okay, so for the training division, actually, before I start, I did check. I got the firm number, Recruit Academy class number 76, which starts in August of 2025, is 8285. So I estimated a little high. So $8,285 per member. Some of the things we're doing currently, we had a really good set of vacant houses on Oxford Street where they're building the new Sono school. And we've been using those buildings for all kinds of destructive training, including vertical ventilation, like roof cutting. We've been doing hose line stretches, window cut downs, wall breaching, window ventilation, breaking windows basically, and simulating entering the rooms, aerial positioning, ladder evolutions, overhaul, and some building construction familiarization. So that was a huge benefit to us. New field construction was really helpful in getting us in there. They're now torn down, but we did get maximum use out of those buildings for about 3 weeks, almost a month. We are currently doing some pre-incident planning with our companies to get data into our new First Due software that we're using for all of our records management. And the company officers have been spending a little time each week going out and looking at different buildings and entering the data into the new program. We've been doing back again doing hose line deployment due to the fact that it's starting to get warmer now. We don't have any water restrictions on us right now. And we have ongoing operator training for aerial operators. Some of our newer members are being brought up to speed on being able to drive the aerial apparatus, both front and the tiller position. Some of the things we've completed, we ran all of our company officers citywide through a training session. Myself and Deputy Assistant Chief Conti put everybody through First Due training, First Due software training. The rescue company's been doing a lot with technical rope rescue training, and actually consequently, they were able to utilize their skills hands-on in a real situation last week when we had to assist PD in recovering a body from the Norwalk River. So that was some of the rope systems that were set up for that were set up, and it directly showed proficiency and skills with the training that those folks have been doing with the rescue. And then we basically completed so a lot of the roof operations at the vacant buildings. Some of the upcoming stuff that's going on. The Deputy Chief promotional exam is scheduled for April 24th with the written component on the 24th and the oral component on the 5th of May. The Deputy Fire Marshal exam is also scheduled. That's not on the agenda, but that is scheduled for May 29th with an oral date of 6/6, June 6th. We're scheduling some area familiarizations with the new Norwalk High School project for Engine 4 on that side of town for them to get familiar with the area and the construction project. Our blood drawings for the 2025 NFPA physicals begin on 31st of this month, and then the physicals start 2 weeks later. We're also working with the Fire Marshal's office to get contacts at Wegmans and Target on Connecticut Avenue to get walkthroughs of those buildings. And we're hopefully going to be using Manresa Island for some training evolutions as the weather gets better. And that's my report for March. I'll take any questions anyone has.
Could you explain for Commissioner Ferguson the physical examination process for firefighters?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely, Mayor. When each year per NFPA standards and OSHA standards, we're required to get a medical evaluation. The medical evaluation includes a physical, blood work, complete blood count. All members over 40 years old get, over 40, we get a PSA test as part of that. Last year we did baseline chest x-rays for every member of the department. We don't have to do those again for those members per the standard until 5 years from that. And then, so what we do is we do a blood draw here at the firehouse for all the offgoing shifts. Like, so the night shift will report to the EOC classroom the next morning, and there's Quest Diagnostics on site here, and they do the blood draw. And then once all the blood draws are completed for all the members, we begin the physicals. Physicals are about two per day. We use Hartford Healthcare Occupational Medicine on Westport Avenue. We used them last year for the first time, and it went extremely well. We were really pleased with the service we got from them. The reporting was good. All the documentation was sent over timely, and it went very, very well. Part of that physical also is vision, hearing, and spirometry, which is the respiratory test for all of our members. And it's just to sum it up, it's an extremely comprehensive evaluation of all of our members. And at the end of it, we get the medical records remain with the doctor, but we get the fitness for duty certificate signed by the doctor, and that's entered into everyone's personnel file. Is that helpful?
Yes.
Very much so.
I have a question. Are there different levels that we could be in comparison to other cities in the state when it comes to these types of initiatives?
We're
Are we judged by our peers of what we do?
I mean, we're really judged against the standard more than anything. I could tell you though that our program has been and still is one of the best programs I've seen in the state. I also work for the Fire Academy as an adjunct instructor, so I'm around the state a lot. I teach in a safety officer program that in that program we discuss medical monitoring for members, cancer prevention, things like that. And I can tell you honestly, I'm not saying this because we're Norwalk, but we are the leaders in both of those areas. We've been getting physicals for years and years and years annually. And we also do a lot of different cancer prevention initiatives here. And we have a wellness program that we have a very good participation rate in. So we are doing very well. As far compared to everybody else, we're doing exceptionally well.
Nice.
And Commissioner Ferguson, as we go through the next couple of months, you'll see the amount of training that goes on each month for the firefighters. They do a remarkable job, very comprehensive, thorough training. And oftentimes when we see an incident, it's very obvious that training has value. So they do a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. We appreciate that.
Question, the Norwalk High School walkthrough, is that scheduled in the month of March or April, or
Have,
has it already happened?
Yeah, the first scheduled appointment is this coming Thursday. Platoon 3 is going there to get a look at what's going on. It's very bare bones so far. It's just steel work. More than anything, we want them to get there just for access, you know, like school's in session while a construction project's going on. If they have to go there for a call, we want them to be, you know, kind of know exactly where to go, you know, what the hazard areas are, things like that. So that's pretty much what this trip is for. Once the building is constructed, we're going to be getting a lot of different walkthroughs of it because it's going to be a very large and very modern building. So
I just have a quick question. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem.
On the deputy chief promotional exam, I might have missed it. It's April/May. Does that mean you're giving it in April or May?
No, I'm sorry. That is confusing, Mr. Mayor. I'm sorry. The written component of the test is April 24th, and then a week goes by, and then we do the oral component a week later, basically just to give everyone time to prepare for that component.
Okay,
And
gotcha.
that's just exactly a week later. Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, so under item G, there's no local 8:30 reports. Commissioner Ferguson, 8:30 is the fire union. There's one letter attached, Chief.
Yes, so just Tracy Evans, she's the head nurse for the Connecticut Developmental Services in Lower Fairfield Center over on Silvermine Avenue. She wrote a letter just basically thanking the fire crews from Station 1 who have been going there routinely to help with medical calls. And she says that they are very engaged and exceptionally helpful in stabilizing residents and assisting Norwalk Hospital EMS. Most of the individuals are required to admission to the hospital. So she's very happy for our efforts, and she wants to extend thank you from her to the guys and gals that work there. So that's the only letter that I have this month.
And Commissioner Ferguson, police, fire, EMS respond to most emergency medical calls. So we have a really good response when somebody needs emergency aid. So it's fire, police, EMS.
Thank you.
And my church was one of those recipients on Sunday at the end of worship. One of our members had difficulty breathing, and they were there within 4 minutes of our call and calmed him down. So thank you to all of those members that were there to help him out.
You're welcome.
Okay, under personnel, there are no items. Public participation, do we have anybody that is looking to speak to the fire commissioners about items that may be on the agenda?
I don't
Apparently
know.
not. Okay. Now, there's no old business, there's no new business. The next meeting would be April 15th, 2025. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
I have one extra item, if I could, please.
Oh, sure, go right ahead.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Chief Cotto and I spoke recently about the potential and possibility of placing I'll call it the attenuator truck or the crash safety truck in the Memorial Day Parade, since we're one of 3 in the entire United States that has that type of operation. And in conjunction with that, I think, if people see the truck go by, they would have no idea what it is or how it's used. And I don't know really how you could project that so the participants in the parade, spectators at least, would be able to understand how necessary that truck is, not only for the firefighters, the people that are involved in that particular accident, and also any bystanders that are looking around, so to speak, if the truck is available. I think it's a fantastic tool, and I believe the city of Norwalk personnel or people watching that parade would and should be quite impressed with what the fire department has done in that regard.
I agree. And Chief, we're not going to have a car running into the back of that truck during the parade for demonstration.
No. And we could actually set it up during the parade, depending on how much time we want to take away from the parade. I don't know, but we'll definitely have it in the parade for sure.
Yep.
Excellent.
Can I add something real quick? Ladies and gentlemen. I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I work on Westport Avenue, so I work at Ives Bank, the Jimmy John's Plaza. That's where I work during the day. I do commercial lending, so I pass by the station on Westport Avenue. I do commercial lending for the bank. I've been in the bank for 30 years. Since 95, I've been working in the banks, and I live on Roosevelt Street, in between Dry Hill and Newtown Avenue. I've been in Norwalk for 30 years. And I think Linda has my number. Feel free to share it. Want to stop in and say hi? Any questions you might have? I'm an open book. Anything I can do to help you guys, just let me know.
Welcome on board.
Thank you.
And if I can add something, I believe that there is an open invitation to all of the commissioners to walk in the parade. It's a wonderful experience. You get a couple of kilometers on your watch. So I'm looking forward to it.
It's the only way I get my steps anymore. Wait 1 year for the parade. Okay.
Commissioner Ferguson, if there's any point where you want to take, or any commissioner really, tours or any of the firehouses, reach out and I'd be more than happy to meet you. A place, take a look through, visit the stations. The guys and girls would love to meet you. So feel free. Every door is open citywide.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll definitely email you ahead of time. Hopefully visiting each station by the year end. Sure. And maybe make an annual visit or a quarterly visit, doesn't matter, but I like to, touch them if I can. So I'll definitely let you all know before I go to any location. We go together.
Anytime.
Okay. If there are no more comments or questions, then I'll take a motion to adjourn. Somebody?
Commissioner Ferguson?
Okay. Commissioner Dixon, motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We are adjourned at 3:50, looks like.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you,
Nice
everyone.
meeting you all.
Thank you.
Be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Welcome and congratulations, Fire Marshal.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate that.